Hey, what's up? This is Gary from Raz Rentals. Yesterday was a pretty exciting day in turtle toy collecting because yesterday I found this awesome Triceraton Infantryman and Roadkill Rodney at my local Target. Now, the Triceraton and Roadkill Rodney come in this cool packaging. You know, on the side here you can see a picture of the Triceraton. In the back, you have a nice little these don't actually say like a bio of the character. This is just like a breakdown of who the Ninja Turtles are. And, I'm really looking forward to getting these other Triceratons. I think they look pretty cool. And on this side, you got Roadkill Rodney. Now, this packaging is obviously based off of the look of the turtle van, or the party wagon. I mean, look at that. Green, yellow, even the top of the packaging, if you look at it, see it's got these like hexagons. Very much like the top of this thing. So, time for me to open this guy up, move him around, and I'll be back in about a couple minutes. Oh, real quick, I do want to mention that this guy is so big, and there's so many accessories in here, you can't really see the picture behind them. But behind them is this very sweet looking picture of the Technodrome in Dimension X. I like this so much I might hang it on my wall. So after opening these guys up and moving them around, all I can say is, wow, these guys are great. It's really cool having a Roadkill Rodney action figure finally. I mean, if you were a fan of the Ninja Turtles back in the day, they were in the cartoon, they were in the video games, and they never had a toy. It's very strange. You think that they would have milked that for all they could, but no, they never released anything for them. So I'm going to break both of these guys down and talk about each separately. And first we're going to start with the Triceraton Infantryman. The Triceratons first appeared in the Fugitoid miniseries. That was a comic that took place between Ninja Turtles 4 and 5, I think. So the first time the Ninja Turtles actually encountered the Triceratons was issue 5, I believe. I can't remember. But the first cover appearance that the Triceratons had was Ninja Turtles number 6. I mean, and look at that cover. That cover is a beautiful cover. That just looks great. This giant hulking Triceratops dude fighting a mutated turtle. Even the second print cover is also amazing. Now, that's some cool stuff. This second print looks more like an Eastman cover, I think, and the first one kind of looks more like a Peter Laird. Now, in those early issues of Ninja Turtles, both Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman worked on, everything. But I'm going to say that these guys are definitely the baby of Peter Laird because Peter is a huge fan of Triceratops, if you've ever followed any of his blogs and stuff like that. And I can't remember if he exactly said that he created these guys, but, if anybody did, if anybody was going to have giant humanoid Triceratops fighting mutated turtles, it would be him. And, unlike a lot of those early guys in the cartoon of the Fred Wolf cartoon or the Playmates toy line, the Triceratops have been very present throughout the whole, lifespan of the Ninja Turtles. They had these toys from Playmates, and then later on when they had the 2003 cartoon, they appeared in that cartoon, and they had some toys. And even in the 2012 cartoon, they appeared very heavily and had some toys. So these guys have had a huge lifespan with the Turtles. And when it comes to the comic books, they showed up in the original Mirage comics. They were in a short story, like a couple issue storyline in Image Comics. And the only thing that they weren't really in that I can remember is I don't think they ever appeared in the Archie comic books. And when it comes to the original Fred Wolf cartoon, they were only in that one episode during season 7. The what is it called? I think it's Enter the Dark Turtle, where Donnie kind of becomes Batman. When it comes to the sculpt, this guy borrows probably the most from Leatherhead. Like, his legs are pretty much the exact same as this. He even has the same, the lower legs, the calves, the thigh, or, you know, the shins. Because Leatherhead here doesn't have any cuts there, where all the other bigger characters, they have legs that have cuts at the bottom. His arms are the same, although they might be more from the Bebop figure, because Bebop had those, he has that bracelet that he has there. And I'm sure that all these bigger guys have the same, probably upper torso, but they just cover it with these like overlays or whatever. So, you know, you have the difference, you have the same articulation underneath, but you just have a different design covering that with like a thin piece of plastic or like a rubber. And oh, his lower torso, his lower torso is the same as Leatherhead too. He even has this like spiky tail, which if you watch the cartoon, he doesn't have that spiky tail in the cartoon, but I don't mind it too much. I still kind of like it. And the cartoon is just a smooth tail. Brand new stuff that he has is he has new feet. You know, he's got these 3 toes. These haven't been with any of the other figures. And these hands are brand new because he only has 2 fingers and a thumb, and all the other characters have 3 fingers and a thumb. And he's got this brand new awesome head sculpt. Now, I do want to say that I don't mind that NECA reuses all these parts. You know, I think sometimes people feel like it's a cheap way of producing figures, but I feel like, you know, the colors are so different from each other, and just the personalities and the faces are so different that, you know, you don't even really pay that much attention to it. Like, I'm just mostly paying attention to it because I'm trying to figure out what's all different here, or like what's all the same and all that kind of stuff. Oh, you know what? Actually, his lower torso looks different than Leatherhead because he has this this belt is actually sculpted on here. So maybe it's like maybe they just kind of added that to the, I don't know. It's tough to say. But, you know, like I said, regardless of them reusing parts, I really, really like this guy. I mean, this guy's huge. And like I said, he just has a different personality. He has a different presence on your shelf than the other bigger guys. When it comes to articulation, this guy moves really well. For a while there, a lot of the NECA figures were very hard to move, where you had to warm them up to try to get them to move. But these, since the Rock Soldiers, the joints have been really nice and very responsive. So I can't complain about that at all. You know, so I remember people complaining that they couldn't get the tails onto their Leatherhead figures, but you know, this tail went on really easily. I didn't have trouble with Leatherhead either. So, in the head, he can look up. I mean, like, in this head, like, moves around better than any of the other NECA big figure heads that I have. Like, Leatherhead, I had a hard time moving that around. Bebop and Rocksteady could hardly move around, but this guy, you know, he could twist his head all the way around. He can look up, he can look down. It's very nice. And his shoulders, they can twist all the way around. He's got a hinge. He has swivel in his upper bicep. He's got a double-jointed elbows. He can move very easily. His wrist swivel, and he has a hinge in there. His upper body can kind of tilt back and forth, or front and back. You can do it a little bit side to side, but not too much. And he just kind of twists at the upper torso. He doesn't have a cut that I can see in the lower torso or around the belt here. Now his legs have these kind of joints in it, and I'm pretty sure that you should be able to swivel the thigh around that joint as well as moving it around on this ball joint. But it's like one of those weird things where it's just kind of like a weird setup. So that's kind of just hard to get this joint to, you know, start spinning around. But, you know, it does still twist very nice. So I don't know how much you would like actually need it to spin around anyway. you're pretty much covering all the distance you would want to go just by doing that. You know, and the legs move up, and they can move forward. There's like a little piece of rubber here covering his lower torso that, you know, kind of moves in with the upper leg. He has double jointed knees, and he doesn't have a cut here in his thigh, or I mean, sorry, his shin or his calf. And his feet, you know, he has ankle rockers, and they have they rock back and forth, and they have a hinge here. So you could probably get into some pretty nice poses very easily. The paint on him, of course, matches the cartoon paint, where he has these black lines to differentiate certain details. Like all these spots on him, they're not sculpted, they're just drawn on him. And then like the back of him, of course, has the cell-shaded look, where the front is a brighter color, and then you just have a solid line that makes it darker in the back. When it comes to accessories, the Triceraton comes with some very useful ones. He comes with these cool open hands. He has a set of like fist hands, but these hands, the holes in them are not big enough to really fit the weapons. I mean, I guess you could, like, you could only squeeze that one in there about that much. Same with the other one, because you have these triggers on them. So those are mostly your turtle pounding hands. But he does come with a trigger hand. He only comes with one of them for his for the right hand, and it's a little loose. Yeah. So you might want to use the fist hands for these things, because probably, there you go. Yeah, this hand is specifically for this thing. The Triceraton comes with 3 offensive weapons, or, you know, guns. He comes with this one, and this is very much based on the original toy, the original toy gun that the Triceraton comes with. This thing is called the laser phaser, and they're both very similar, but, you know, the new one is, you know, not as zany. It's a little bit more square looking than how it came out before. The second weapon he comes with is this, it looks like a rifle, but this is actually a gun that came with the original Rocksteady figure in 1988. This is the retro Mutagen gun. I always thought it kind of looked like a machine gun, but, you know. To me, it looks more like it would have like a bullet in it than like a laser or energy beam or something like that. And last, he comes with this very cool cannon. I don't know if this has a name. This does appear in the Fred Wolf episode with him, and it just kind of shoots like missiles or, you know, bombs or something like that. So overall, I'm very happy with this guy. I think he looks really cool. I think he looks really awesome compared to, you know, in the long line of Triceraton figures. I think he's, you know, a really good one. My only minor nitpick is that the way that his pupils are painted on, he's constantly looking up. And, you know, the turtles are a lot smaller than him. So he's always going to be looking up instead of being able to, like, look down at him. And that's about as low as you can, you know, put the head. But I guess this Leo is also always looking up, so for Leo, this Triceraton battle is perfect. And if you were curious, the Retro Mutagen gun does fit in Rocksteady's hand pretty well. It kind of looks like it was built more for that because of his trigger finger here. You know, maybe that was the intention. Maybe they packaged these extra guns in here so you could give them to Bebop and Rocksteady. Although I kind of prefer the original rifle blaster that he comes with in his first release over this retro Mutagen gun. To me, that seems more of like a cartoon design, where this one is based off of the toy. So let's stare and compare at these two Triceratons and see how they differ from each other. In the original toy came out in 1990 by Playmates, and the Triceraton in the Fred Wolf cartoon didn't appear until season 7, so that would have been around 1994, 1995. And obviously they changed some things. Some things they probably cut back on just because of, the sake of animation and trying to simplify things. And, so like with the head here, they both have those like bags and like different colored eyebrows and like the beaks. But this guy, he's got different things going on. It could have been just like a, for the sake of like contrast, that they decided to make the beaks a lighter color and the bags underneath the eyes. He does have like this outline along his, I don't even know what you call that on the Triceratops, but he kind of has that same kind of outline going on. This guy is obviously a lot more detailed and a lot sharper and whatnot, but when it comes to the chest plate, he's got the same thing going on, where his pecs are, he's got this chest plate up here above his pecs, and he has like these bolts going along the line of it. Both of them have the red triangle on them. Now he's got like an open ab area where he's like covered up, and on the backs of them, they're pretty different. He doesn't have these spikes on his spine, and he doesn't have two pieces of the armor coming down. Now the belt on this guy is very simple, of course, but he does have these triangles on it. The original figure, let's see if I can take a look here. The original figure does have the triangle on his belt in here. Try to brighten it up. And he does have a bunch of pouches on it. I mean, he's got like a pouch on both sides. But it's animation. They have to cut back things. Now the pants are obviously different. He's got no pants on. He just has these cod pieces or whatever. He's running around in his underwear, and he doesn't have these huge gauntlets. I mean, these gauntlets are pretty awesome looking. He's got like pretty cool fingerless gloves. But they took all that out, and he just kind of has these bracelets like Bebop. Now the tails are very different, because the original Triceraton, he's got this dinosaur tail where it's nice and smooth, and this Triceraton, he's got Leatherhead's tail, so it's more of a alligator or crocodile tail. But it's still a pretty cool pretty cool version of him. I don't really remember that episode too much. I pretty much checked out of the Ninja Turtles maybe around season 4, and then every now and then I would just kind of sneak back. Like, I remember the Turtleoid episode when that came out, but I didn't remember this episode. And in my opinion, if you watch the old Turtles cartoons, the best seasons are 1, 2, and then 7. So if you haven't seen this episode with the Triceratons, it's called, Enter the Dark Turtle. You should check it out. It's pretty good. And so is the rest of the season 7. Well, the second half. The first half is like made up of this European travelogue episodes where they're going to different countries. Skip those episodes. Go right into the main season 7 episodes. When it comes to height, the Triceraton is now the tallest of the NECA cartoon line, and that's mostly just because of that like ring or circle around the back of his skull. That makes him a little taller than Granitor. If you're like me, you might be wondering, well, this guy looks great, but I wonder how he looks next to the Super 7 Ultimate figures. And here you go. He still matches pretty well, like scale-wise. He still looks a lot taller than him. Just like, Bebop and Rocksteady and everybody else. So he does look intimidating. I don't know if the... more so than the other figures, I feel like this face is a lot more cartoony looking than maybe even like Bebop and Rocksteady. So that might not mix well enough for you. He is a really cool, giant looking, angry, threatening villain. Overall, I think this guy's really cool. I like him a lot. I'm really excited to get the next two Triceratons, especially the green one. I really like his design and the color of him. So, so far, so good, man. So up next, we have Roadkill Rodney. And I love this guy. Like, I can't believe it took 33 years for this guy to finally have a toy. That's crazy. But, it's pretty cool. Sometimes the future, man. Sometimes the future's all right. Now, when you get this guy in the package, he doesn't have this this dirt or this smoke cloud coming up. If you don't have that, he can't stand up. So you have to attach this to both of them in order for him to stay in place. Roadkill Rodney comes with very simple but effective articulation. His arms can spin around, and you can pull them out so you can put the extra arms he comes with. His arms have a wire inside of them. You can tell because he's got these little holes here because it's meant to stretch or bend. His head doesn't move, but in order to get like his head off the top of it, one time I stuck my nail underneath it to try to get it out, and I scratched the plastic. So what I started to do was just kind of twist it, and just kind of as I'm twisting it, apply some pressure and kind of ease my way out. His wheel twists here, goes all the way around, and then if you take off the smoke cloud, his wheel actually does move around, but it's kind of pointless because you're pretty much going to have him stuck on this because otherwise he doesn't stand. And then the final, and one of the best things about him is he's got this cool extra gun that comes out of his chest. Now, I love that. That's such an awesome thing. This guy comes with some pretty awesome accessories, and they're pretty much everything you would want if you ever watched any episode with him in the cartoon or played any of the, the video games where he's in it. So, you got this, this dirt pile here, so you can take his head off and, plug his head in. I'm having trouble here. But you pop his head off, you put the drill on, and let's see, you got it's keyed a little bit, so that you can put that in there. Come on, I'm having a little bit of a hard time here. That's pretty good. So you can make it look like he's popping out of the ground. Now, I did see something, and I can't take credit for this. I saw this on Facebook where somebody said that, if you don't want to pop his head off and do that, you could possibly just kind of stick this in here and make it look like one is just kind of coming out of the ground to begin with. That's a pretty decent idea, I think. You can also, as I said, you could just put the drill in it and make it look like you could have him jumping at the turtles, I guess. Something like you have this smoke cloud on his wheel, and sometimes it is a little tricky to balance him correctly with it. It's not the greatest system in the world, but it works. And then, of course, you have the battle damaged head. And this thing is great because if you ever watch that first, I don't know if he appears in the first actual episode of the Ninja Turtles, but if you watch the episode Enter the Shredder, where these things go and they capture the rhino and the warthog from the zoo. Later on, they have this big battle in the Technodrome where the turtles come in, and that's whenever Raph sticks his size in both of them. And then the turtles throw them sort of off a cliff into a chasm or something like that in the Technodrome. And that's just awesome. I know he's got that pizza there, but that's I don't know. You just never had this awesome kind of stuff back in the day. It's really cool that NECA is really planning these things out and really giving you a lot of cool options for your action figures and how they're, battling on your shelf. Now, the last accessory this guy comes with is probably his most important one, especially if you watch that episode. He uses them to grab the turtles. He grabs the rhino and the warthog at the zoo. If you played any kind of video games of the Ninja Turtles with these guys in it, they always use these hands to grab you and electrify you. So, I ordered that loot crate that's coming out soon, and I can't wait to get that because, you can just set that up perfectly where he's just got his hand wrapped around the turtle. And now this thing, he's got his hand wrapped around the turtle, and the loot crate turtle, he's like electrified. You can see his bones. It's great. Now this thing like does rotate and bend back into place. This does not have a piece of wire inside of it, so it is always just like this kind of rubber. And you just kind of, wrap it around your guy and hold him. Recently, I watched the first couple episodes of the Turtles just because I wanted to see how these guys sized up with the Turtles. When I got this, I kind of thought maybe he looks a little too small. But he is pretty much the right height that he should be. The top of his head in the cartoon looked like it matched the, this line here in the middle of this turtle shell. So, like, he's very close to that. Well, maybe not. I guess he should be about like a half an inch taller, maybe, in my opinion. Because even though I think he looks really cool and it's really awesome to get him, I feel like he's just a tad too short. It's like almost like an AVGN episode or something like that, where he's like the enemies on the ground that you can't hit because he's too short. You got Leo here, and he should be. I just think he should be a little bigger, like a half an inch, and he'd be perfect. But other than that, I think he looks really great. I like him. I mean, even with the small size, it might add some kind of contrast on your shelf between all these guys. You can't have everybody like giant and hulking above the turtles. You got to have some smaller guys. It's just that, I think that maybe he should be a little bigger. Originally, I only wanted to get 2 of these packs so that I could have 4 of these guys in my cartoon shelf. But now looking at this is like a dream come true, man. Like, this is, when you were a kid and you were in the 80s, you had the Ninja Turtles, I'm sure you probably wished that they had toys of these guys. And these guys look fantastic next to these Playmates toys. The scale looks good. They the accessories work well with the the wrapping of the wire. Now the hunt is on. Hopefully they put up a pre-order for these guys so that people can order more than just 1 or 2 packs, because both Triceraton Infantryman and Roadkill Rodney are, they're army builders. They're soldiers and whatnot. So hopefully you'll have a chance to be able to get more than just 1 pack of these guys. And now for something completely different. Like, who didn't want to see this back in the day? You probably had your Technodrome and your Mutant module, and you're probably like, I got my Mousers, I got Krang, I got Shredder, I got Foot Soldiers, but where is that cool robot from the video games that, annoys the crap out of me, but he's just got a cool design? He's like an evil R2-D2. This looks great. These guys fit in very nice scale with these things. You could pop them in there and all that. Well, it took about 35 years, but we finally got a chance to have Roadkill Rodney in the Technodrome. And, he fits in perfectly. And last in this stare and compare of Roadkill Rodney, we have him next to the Super 7 Ultimates figure. And I think out of all of the mixes that I've made of the Ultimates figure with the NECA figures, I think that this one works the least. I think Roadkill Rodney is just too short for him. He should be bigger. He looks too small unless you want him to be like a character that Raph is going to kick around or something like that. And the design looks great. I think the design-wise, he still looks very good. You can mix him with so many different of these Ninja Turtle lines. He's just, scale-wise, he doesn't fit in. I said it before, and I'll say it again. 2020 is probably the most exciting year in the Ninja Turtle history since, 1992 or so. probably sometime after the Secret of the Use. Like, this is everything you wanted when you were a kid, only now you can finally have it, if you can find it, that is. Today is October 23rd. It's around 7 o'clock. These Roadkill Rodney and the Triceraton Infantryman were supposed to go on sale on Target's website sometime today, but they haven't been put up yet, so hopefully they're up there, and hopefully if they've been put up, hopefully you got one. You know, I'm going to try to get myself a second copy of these guys because I think they're great, you know. They look good with all these figures. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Did you find the Triceraton and Roadkill Rodney pack at Target? Were you able to buy it on Target.com whenever they put it up? It seems like Target's doing a little bit better with the distribution now, but I hope eventually goes to the point where, you know, most of the stuff can just be bought by pre-order on the NECAstore.com. So let me know what you think. Also, I have some other NECA reviews up. I have comparisons between the Toon and the arcade toys. I have reviews of the Ultimates toys. I have reviews of old Playmates turtle toys and also some Ghostbuster toys. So, you know, check out some of that other stuff and have a good one. Thanks.